So in this last video, I want to cover a little bit of styling. Bootstrap has really made our website look nice and clean, and we have several forms on this website, right? We have this add video form that we've been working with here, but we've also got like the sign up and the login form. Like there's lots of different places that we're going to have forms, and we can really even spruce them up that much more than what we have now and do some cool stuff where if we get back bad data, we can have like a red version of the form showing up like, hey, you need to go fix X, Y, and Z thing. And you can do this by putting your form data around, well, an individual field in a form with a class called form group. And we also need to have form control for the individual form, but that can get a little bit tricky. And so in order to do this, we're actually going to have to install a new piece of code into our project via pip. So let's get back to our terminal, do a Control-C to get out of the server, and let's do a pipenv install. Remember, that's our cool new way of installing stuff via pip. So pipenv install, and then all one word, we want Django -widget -tweaks. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit enter on that. It's going to go do its work to bringing it into our project. Great, now that we have that in place, let's go ahead and rerun our server. This is an app that we need to bring into our project, so let's go ahead and move into our settings. And here inside of our settings, we'll scroll down to our installed apps. We'll go ahead and add one more here. It's going to be widget_tweaks. Widget tweaks, there we go. Add that ending comma, and we'll go ahead and save that. Now that we have access to this, let's, for instance, work on our add video form. So we're going to go customize what we have here. First, what we've got to do is inside of our form, we've got to say, okay, we've got to load this widget tweaks app that we have. So we're going to add this here. Let's do our % and we'll say load space and then just widget_tweaks. Great. Now that we've done that, what we're going to do is rather than just saying, hey, display the whole form as a paragraph tag, we're going to use the ability to get customized here and say, okay, we want to lay out each individual field and we're going to surround them with a div. So let's create an opening div tag here, and we'll make its ending div tag right there at the bottom. Okay, so we've got the open and close here. And what we're going to do is we're going to customize this beginning div by saying, okay, your class is going to be equal to form-group. Again, this adds some great style to our form here, but on top of this, we're going to say, okay, if we get back some bad data, we can actually find that in an individual field by saying, figuring out that this thing has errors. So just inline here, we're going to go space, and then let's do our curly brackets with %. We're going to inline do an if statement and say if field.errors. Okay, so if that is the case, then we'll just right after this, we're going to add the alert class and then also alert-danger. These are classes that in Bootstrap will react to this and make it all red and help the user know, oh, okay, I've got to change something about the information I just added. So go ahead and do our % again, and inside of that, we'll have our end if. So usually, you know, we make new lines for this, but I think it kind of makes sense to just inline say, okay, this is this if statement to check and see if we have this. Now you notice I referenced field here, and we didn't have any for loop yet, so let's go ahead and create that. We're gonna again do our cool little % here, and we're gonna say for field in form. Okay, and we'll at the end of the div tag here, we're gonna end that for. So we'll say end for. Great, so we've got that all in place. Then now, inside of our div, this is where we've got to add stuff like if there's errors, we've got to add the label, we've got to be able to add the actual field that's going to be there. So we'll start with the errors. We're going to say field.errors with an S, and let's just go ahead and copy this and paste it twice. So the next one, we don't want errors, we want label_tag. And then finally here, this is where we're going to finally use that widget tweaks. We're going to say, okay, we want to render_field. There we go. And then we want to put out the field, and then we're going to say class is equal to form control, and this allows us to add that class, which is going to help with the styling of things. So with this all in place, let's go ahead and see what our new form looks like. Remember, this is the old one. We're going to refresh here, and it's not liking what we got. Simple fix here. So I used 2 curly brackets instead of the percentage sign here. So because we're working with some code and not just referencing something, a variable that was passed in, we've got to change that. So we'll go ahead and save this, come back, reload the page, and look at that. Our fields go all the way left to right, like there's some nice spacing in between them. Again, this is great built-in Bootstrap stuff that makes our forms just look that much better. And so eventually with our project, we're going to want to apply this to all of the forms, for the sign-up forms, for the login forms, and you can decide and say, I really don't like the way forms look like this. You can, make them smaller if you want to. I think the best way to do that would make some rows and then add columns there to say, this should be this big or something like that. But anyways, I really like the look of this. It goes really well for if you're going to scale the size of your site. Like if you can imagine someone on mobile with this, I'm having a hard time grabbing the edge of the screen there. There we go. Look, that form just looks really great. Oh, shout out to the goat video back there. So good. Anyways, okay, that does it for our form section. Man, you have learned a lot, but you still got more to go. Let's keep pressing forward.